It wasn't supposed to quit my stream software. It was supposed to simply... Yeah, sorry about that. So, is it gonna bring it back to life? Yeah, I guess that's bringing the stream back to life there, hopefully. Hopefully everyone's still hanging around. Nope, it says stream finished. Fine. Twitch seems to be okay, but YouTube wasn't able to catch the stream back, so hopefully you come back. But I guess that's showing up there. Okay, so Twitch seemed to be able to catch the stream again, and YouTube has to restart, so just one moment off of that. Let's bring all of these windows back. So Arena's still starting up. Weird. Okay. Let's see if that comes back eventually. Still on board. Okay. Yeah, it still says loading initial scene. Waiting for server. So we might be back. Let's see. Right there. Okay, so it did come back. Let me finish bringing back my YouTube things. I was going to do the quit onto the game, but since I switched scenes, the last thing that was selectable was my stream software, so when I did the quit, it quit the stream software instead of the game, so rookie mistake. Okay, let me finish setting this up right here. Bring all of these windows back. And let me just do this to confirm. Chat on YouTube was weird, so I'm going to try to confirm it like that. See, is that appearing over there eventually, I guess? Alright, so some of these other settings over here, it's so weird that this all kind of like just reset, kind of. I have to set everything again, but I think we're good right there. So there we go, got you back there. I see you there again, Mark. So although my system says 0 viewers on YouTube, but I think we'll be okay. We got a couple of viewers on Twitch, 0 viewers on YouTube, but I think this is gonna catch itself up in a moment. As soon as I finish setting the setting, then we'll go back to some gameplay. So there's all of this behind the scenes stuff that you all might not quite know that I have to set in order for it to look smooth for all of you. But I think we've got it. We'll be trying that red deck. Yeah, I'll do it in a moment. Let's play the draft, and I'll shoehorn it in right after this draft. When we complete the draft, we'll give that deck a try. See how it goes. Okay, so I'm gonna go back to the Premier draft. Alright, let's try that again. Smeechelly is the opponent. I have a 1-drop, then I have the bow, I have the make more mana thing. This can do stuff. Let's work with this. Okay. Turn 1 land, but then I'll pass it back to them so that they don't know that I've got a flash creature. Turn 2 that pick, so I can start to make mana. Equip it next turn. If that intruder lives, if they bring out a blocker, I could depart it and then attach. Yeah, we'll do that. They can play it again, and then over here, equip that to make a treasure. And then I've got more treasures over here. Yeah, we're back. I don't know what happened. I just started this right here. I don't know what happened with the system. It just took forever to reinitialize. When this dies, create a 1/1. Okay, so they're obviously gonna block that. So I guess we'll just get it out of the way. Then I'll bring in a spider. That is a 4/2 spider. A 4/2 with reach. Did I miss a land drop? I might have missed the land drop. You were typing. You were getting no response. Foretelling something. Can bring out Morit already. So do we want to bring that out? Would I just copy a permanent? I could bring out. Let's bring out as a copy of this as this big old spider, and make it even bigger. So they might block. Oh, no blocks. Okay, I'll take that treasure. And then, so they've got it. They're a 3/2 flyer, but I've got a big old spider. We can bring out the elven bow. Oops, they're gonna look at that and wreck it. Fine, that uses up all their mana. And they have no blockers. Okay, you can do that with no blockers if you want. Because then we get that. Make some more treasure. Let's do this living weapon. And then I still have enough for all of this. So now I'm just on a very go wide strategy right there. I'm sure they'll hold back. Huh, okay. Can do that. No attacks. Okay. So let us see if we get anything good out of this strategic planning over here. It's pausing for something. Seems to be pretty good at the Kaldheim side. Maybe, ooh, there's coma. So the whole idea with this is coma. They don't know that it's in my hand. But, let's see what they get here. So it did pause for them for something. What do they have with that pause? Maybe some sort of pump effect. Oh, and this can boast. Yeah, let's go ahead and boast it too and go get another land. We're gonna kill it, fine, but I can still get my thing. And let's bring in just another land. Wipe the board. Next turn, coma. uncounterable. I think they looked at their... They're going to do a way down. Fine. And then they pass. Okay. Oh, I still don't have enough for it? Oh, yeah, because I missed all of... I used up all my treasures. Whoops. Okay, 1, 2... There we go. If that survives, so pretty epic animation, but whoop, it's not going to survive. They have one final kill spell, maybe? Oh, never mind. At the beginning of each upkeep, it makes a 3/3, so they're like, never mind. Alright, there we go. So we're up on silver tier now. Yeah, when you have a self-replicating big old chonker like this, it might be difficult to deal with. The spell cannot be countered. At the beginning of each upkeep, create a 3/3. At any point, you can sacrifice a serpent and then either tap a permanent or give indestructible to itself. So even if they had a kill spell, for free, I could just sacrifice that Koma's Coil, and then it's indestructible. Obviously, if they had an exile effect, then that'd be trouble. But that's the idea with this deck, to try to ramp into this big creature. That is pretty cool. Alright, game 2, and then we'll do another question of the day here. February 5th question was, what are you obsessively listening to? What I'm obsessively listening to is the album from Bikini Kill, named The Singles, released in 1998, and it's an amazing album. In the 90s style of Riot Girl music, and I've been listening to it over and over, and it is a great rocking album that I really enjoyed. So we have Warriors. Just confirm here, Koma's a serpent, right? Serpent. So this will be insurance for later. Your best is listening to Alicia. Can you imagine if you didn't? Oh, they've got their own sort of ramp, but even that, I'll have a blocker. So if they have a, that only equips for 1, so if they have a removal spell and 1 mana, then they'll be able to get through and do that. Okay. I guess might as well lose it at this point. They missed a land drop. It's twins. If I Raven form their... If I Raven form them, they can still attack with that axe. I can do 2 blockers. Actually, if I bring this Shapeshifter, I should still be able to block. I could bring out 2 Hawks. Double block that? No, that's not even going to be enough to double block. That is a sorcery. Okay, might as well foretell that. Starnheim Cursor. Artifacts cost 1 less. Okay. One, two, three, four. So this is kind of an interesting mana rock. It gives you 1 green, but only for creatures of a chosen type or legendaries. Let's see if they don't quite read that. Ah, playing triple colors, okay. +4. That's funny, it's a flyer, but it also has reach, so it can, in a weird way, like double block. And then they foretell something, fine. Masked Vandal doing its thing. Ascent of the Worthy. Chapter 1. Choose a creature you control until your next turn. All damage that will be dealt to this creature is dealt to that. Okay. So all of the damage is being redirected over to that bird. Fine. That's fun. Okay. Let's make some more critters. And then we can pilfer. So now everything goes to that 2/3. Return target creature card from your graveyard to the battlefield with a flying counter. Okay. Fine. No blocks. Well, I'm at 9 life, I just realized. Okay, time to get this really on track. I guess don't need the bow. Well, actually the bow would be useful as a blocking, so I guess the planning. And okay, we'll bring out no need to equip that. Then we'll equip it over here to a big blocker. Send in some attackers. So that Skemfar Avenger can come back. So when something dies, okay, so it's coming back as a flyer, but it's got summoning sickness. They still have something. They still have something to foretell, unfortunately. So let's see what that's about. But they pass. Okay. Okay, let's depart stuff. I could probably depart something, but let's do this. Let's see what they choose to do here. I still have that thing that is foretold. And that could be a million different things. Create X Berserkers. Sure. Could probably bounce that back. Well, I should probably wait for them to equip it. They might equip that Berserker. If they equip the Berserker, well, okay, whatever they equip, I can deal with it. That's a 4/3. Toss that back. And I can probably take another hit. No problem. That equips for 3, one more land, and then they're done. Okay, so this spider... We'll bring out a spider as a blocker. It's a big old spider. I should have passed the Elven. I couldn't equip it, actually. It takes 3. I was going to say I should have passed the... Oops, something to foretell. They have one thing in the foretell zone. That's scary. It could be so many different things. Okay. Sure. So what do I want to block here? Yeah, I can still take 2 damage. Okay. Pretty close match, isn't it? I can minus it one more time. Yep. Alright, I have 1 blocker left, so I can take the 2 damage off of that cursor and then chump block that Avenger. If, however, they have 1 more removal spell, I'm totally dead. Okay, that's a lot of angels. That'll be a problem. So, not sure if I can make it through that. Create X angels, where if the spell create X of those instead. Fine. Well, I guess this is game over. They just have way too many attackers. Well, that was close. Was that a rare card, or what sort of card was that? Because that definitely did the effect that it that's pretty game-winning. So they foretold that. I wonder when they did that, if it was early on or recently, but they were able to foretell it at the right point and make lots of angels. So either Toxic, you just made it right on time. I just was defeated in the most epic way ever that I'm probably going to quit Magic forever because I cannot stand it. No, just kidding, being melodramatic. Okay, so we're doing the draft, and they go first. It's a kind of ramp over here, kind of. Let's see what we can get here. So Hyper Atom is the opponent. If I can get my 3rd mana, I can do stuff. We're playing black and red. Did they disconnect? I guess they needed to take a while to figure that out, but okay. I've been beat in that challenge. You got defeated way more than me. Is that what you're saying? That it's been happening worse? Alright, there we go. Third land. I can boast. Do I have a Nyx Bloom deck? No. I have Nyx Bloom Ancient in one or two of my Brawl decks, but that's not the focus of it. And it's just it's part of it, and I really like it because it just makes so much mana. Okay, let's see if they fall for this. All right. That's what I like to see. People falling for things. I missed the land drop. I've been struggling a little bit of mana with this in this deck. This is a draft. I'm in a draft at the moment, and it was a little bit of a mishmash of things. And it's the idea is to ramp a little bit and get into big things. Coma is the main thing. That one serpent. Yeah, I'm missing these land drops. Coma is the yeah, I'm gonna have to Draugr myself. I need to. Yeah, I need to unto myself. See, I need to scry myself or surveil myself. Because they've got 1,000,000 mana, and now they've got their Death Rider. Oh, but they had their Death Rider. Sorry about that. Exiled. Okay, and then just go in with everything. Which I could probably hold back as that blocker just in case they want to come at me. Okay, should have gone for everything. You suck at draft, try 2 times, draft loss. Well, no worries, that's how it is. When I was first doing my own drafts and stuff in the beginning, it was a challenge, definitely, because okay, I'm gonna need to sacrifice these two. I'm gonna need to boast into a land. Because I'm missing my land drops. So sorry, little guy, you got your damage there. And then as for myself, Shapeshifter. Let's do this with Shapeshifter, just because then I could cast more things at once. So as I was saying about the drafting, so I've been playing Arena since 2018. Oh man, Tybalt, that's a good one. So they can cast it themselves, I guess. The first drafts, yeah, I would win like 1 time, and it took a while to be able to win more. And the thing about draft is that it is complicated. If you, little by little, you might get better at it, but it definitely takes a while. And it also depends on the format, you know, different... They took the land that I needed. The different sets work differently, so it is a learning process. But drafting is cool for being able to accumulate cards and drafting is cool being able to accumulate cards. Everyone starts on kind of like an equal foundation. Will the style come back for the forest you have? This one over here? I don't know. Sometimes they do sometimes they do the they had way too much an advantage. They had all the mana that they needed. They had a planeswalker. They stole my cool stuff, so that wasn't gonna work out. So let's move on. So I don't know if they're gonna bring back. Sometimes they bring them back for limited editions and stuff, just to get people hyped up to keep coming back and playing. So maybe they'll come back. Not sure. Just call someone on Discord, voice chat, 20 drafts, so you can win. The one with all the light green was probably one of the snow-covered lands. So it's sort of the same answer. I'm not sure if every time they will bring back the same things. That's sort of like their style, to kind of have people just keep coming back for more. Alright, so they could attack with that flyer. Yeah, they're gonna attack with it. Okay, fine. What I can do is attack with a big old creature such as that, and I've also got a block if I don't attack, but I should probably attack. So they're also playing with black mana. Baltimore, 1993. I wonder if that means that they were born in Baltimore in 1993. That's not a good name, because the you may play target snow permanent card from your graveyard this turn if you do it. It just tapped. Okay, I guess bringing stuff back from the graveyard. I don't know. Wouldn't you rather have a cool creature instead? Was that a misplay? Because I don't know why they would want that part of things. I know why. They want a Pilfering Hawk and throw stuff in the graveyard, I guess. But I don't know if that's a great strategy. There's my Coma, but I don't have enough for it yet, so just have to hang in there until I get that win condition. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. I need 7 mana in total. So what they're going to do right there is do the pilfer aspect. Fine, draw 2 cards off of that. That was the Village Rites. Pretty epic art on that. Okay, another one of those. Fine. I have 3, 4, 5. I need 1 more mana for Coma. Three, 4, 5, 6, 7. So what I'm doing is, if you're just joining the stream, I'm putting like a different land of every art. So like on my forest, I have one of the jumpstart lands, and then I have an unstable land, and then I have a Zendikar land. So I'm just throwing a bunch of different land art. Jasper's Sentinel brings back. Comes in tapped. Okay. So, you may target snow permanent. Oops, I keep thinking it's anything, but it's snow permanent. Okay. That can do cool stuff. Exile. So that Elder Leaf Mentor brings in an Elf Warrior Friendo. That's pretty cool. Troll gets indestructible. Do they have enough snow for that? Alright, there we go. That's the win condition. So that's pretty cool that it's a free activation for that, and I like the art. Kaldheim, the Rhyme Staff. I like the art for it, and I just realized because it's a snow permanent, then okay, it's pretty good. If it Alright, so what's cool about Coma is right there. I've already got that happening there, and remember I can sacrifice a Coma tail for indestructibility. Okay, so I'm going to see about this, trying to tap out their big blocker. Tap a permanent. so let's do some of this. I don't think they can triple block or whatever. Okay, that'll do a thing. So it's just sort of an inevitability with Coma. I'm just going to keep creating these 3/3s, and even if I don't need to sacrifice them, I can sacrifice 2 and just bring down their defenses. So they're going to draw a discard. Avalanche Collar or something becomes a 4/4, sure. Bring back another blocker, but it comes in tapped. Let's read this again. Target snowland you control becomes a 4/4 with Hexproof and haste until end of turn. Okay, so it's not going to... Well, actually I could still... I could still sacrifice a tail, and even if they turn it into a... Okay, that'll give them less things to bring back from the graveyard. That's fine. Ooh, okay. You may have this enter as a copy of a permanent you control, except it's legendary. So I'd only be able to have one, but I could have 2 flyers at once. Let's do that, about creating some flyers. I can still attack with that and then sacrifice it. Okay. Triple blocking that, fine. So they have a pretty good combo with that called ice, that thing. There's only one thing left in the graveyard to bring back, however. Well, I guess they can still toss stuff in there with that hawk. Okay, that's another creature. There's another freaking troll. Fine, but they're out of cards. Bring back one of those. Cast it again, but it comes in tapped. So over here we can force their hand. So if they remove another thing, yeah, they're going to remove another thing from the graveyard, so they can't bring it back. Okay, so let's go all in. Alright, just slowly whittling them down. Hopefully they don't pull something amazing. But we're just going here with a bunch of attacks. Okay, Wither Crown on that. Okay, that's fine. Lose a life unless you sacrifice a creature. I'm on a 13 turn oh, and then it also goes down to a 0. Okay, well, yes. It's actually not that great, but still, that'll come in tapped. Still have plenty of creatures to... Still have plenty of creatures. Okay, let's do this. Let's tap all their things. This might be able to do it here. If I can tap all their things, I'm going to have enough attackers here. I can live with that because then sacrifices creature, decline, and then just go all in with everything, and then if they don't block that Mistwalker, that can do the final damage. Oh yeah, that's going to make a land come to life. Whoops. Okay. Still, I have enough air attackers, so I think we'll be okay. Okay, that 3/2, sure. Oh, they're gonna team up on that. Oh, that's fine. There we go. Alright, Coma, doing what Coma Serpents of the Cosmoses do. Just cloning its little tail over and over and then doing fun stuff. So, alright, got it. I think I'm going to take the first break. My timer reset, but I think I've already... It's about to be 2 hours, so yeah, I'll take my first break at this point. We're 2 and 2 so far. Let's see how it goes. So, okay, I'm going to take a break. Be back in just a bit. Alright, we are back. Let's keep going. I have my drink ready, but this time, after last week's fiasco, it is just chocolate milk. And we have a guest to the stream again. After the kitty woke up, he's like, let me come over here to see what's going on. So he's gonna be here just to say hello for a moment, but then I've got to take him outside because there's way too many fun things that he could have fun with, such as my comics or my chocolate milk, and I'm not gonna be able to fully monitor him, so he's just gonna come to say hello for a moment. My mom sent me a text message earlier saying, could this be his long-lost parent? And it was a photo of a vaguely looking cat like this one, although that one looked more like a Siamese, so they don't really quite know. No, it is truly just chocolate milk, but it's one of these fancy sugar alternative chocolate milks. It doesn't use sugar, it uses monk fruit, so it's one of those alternative sweeteners. I think it feels a little bit too... It leaves a lot of mouthfeel, like a lot of stickiness in a sort of a way, rather than regular sugar. So I don't love it, but it's the only thing I had to drink. So okay, I'm gonna take out the kitty because he has lots of energy, and I won't be able to fully hang out with him. And I know he's gonna jump everywhere and destroy stuff. See if he was a little bit more sedate and would just hang out in the corner over there in his little bed, then I'd leave him in here. But I know he's going to jump either on my side table here or try to jump on the desk over here, and I have my chocolate over there, so he might make another appearance in a little while. Let me see if I can find this easily here. What's it called? Kaldheim fruit. Chocolate. Not a sponsor of the stream, but this is what I'm drinking right over here. So if we look at the web browser, it's this one right here. Lakanto drinking chocolate, sugar-free. I don't think I got the probiotic one, but that is what I have at the moment. Over from the company Lakanto. Yeah, so that's New Year, New You. So they're all about these alternative sweeteners, specifically monk fruit. 15 Super Bowl sugar-free recipes for champions. Whoops, my web browser's not even showing anything. Sorry about that. Because after I restarted the stream, I forgot to reactivate the browser source. Anyway, here's what I was showing. Very anticlimactic. So this is what I was showing right here. That this is the hot chocolate that I'm drinking, and it's from the company Lakanto, and they have all of these products. And I was saying not a sponsor of the stream, but if they do sponsor me one day, I wouldn't hate it. And then I saw a recipe right over here. 15 Super Bowl sugar-free recipes. Let's see if any of these sound appetizing. Because obviously sugar makes everything better. But let's see what they have. Instant pot pulled pork barbecue chicken sliders. Okay, sounds good. Sugar-free copycat Chick-fil-A sauce. Ah, interesting. I'd like to copy the Chick-fil-A sauce. So it needs sweetener, mayonnaise, mustard, liquid smoke, garlic, paprika, apple cider vinegar. Doesn't seem too complicated. Keto garlic cheese biscuits. Oh, I made these biscuits the other day. They came out pretty nice. Low carb barbecue sauce, Asian chicken wings, Instant Pot spicy keto chicken dip, air fryer keto mozzarella sticks, creamy cheddar cheese sauce, easy deviled eggs. I kind of like these recipes actually. I'm gonna copy them over on my recipe thing. Alright, let's get back to some gameplay. That was a little food diversion. But here's the draft so far. It's been going okay. Let's see if we can keep this going. When that serpent comes out, it's definitely game over, but getting to it is the trick, of course. So the opponent has one of these cool secret layer, I think it's from the secret layer, tattoo styles. Alright, if I can get my blue source. Yeah, let's get a close-up on that one, just one moment. So all I need to do here is get a creature. And let's get a close-up there again. So yeah, it's that style of... I'm not versed enough in this in this style of tattooage, so... So I wouldn't know exactly like the full style. I want to say Ed Hardy, but I don't think that's exactly the right style. Or what's that one? Big Daddy Ross? Is that one of the famous hot rod personalities? Well, this deck is going to do stuff once I get my very first blue source. I guess as soon as I get my blue source, then I have to strategic planning, and that won't do anything. Look at that, they're playing 4 colors. Clarion Spirit. Yeah, I think this is going to be game over before anything started. If they're playing all of those so many different colors, they're probably going to play something like the Rainbow Bridge or something, because right there they're gonna put that. They're doing the gain life, draw a card. I think we're pretty behind, but let's see if maybe something can happen here, but kind of doubt it. They've got cards in... They've got cards that they've got in Foretell, they've got a way to make treasure, they've got gain life, which will then draw them cards, so it's going to be hard to get through this. It's not really a good match. I'm way far behind. They have all the mana that they need. They have a way to generate mana. I don't have a way to get rid of it yet. They're going to be gaining life and then eventually drawing cards. And 2 cards in Foretell, so it's not looking good. They're going to be able to foretell and then keep making more spirits. See, they're already drawing cards because they've already got more starting life. So let's see if we can hold things back, but they'll probably equip their pickaxe to the flyer. That Frost Peak Yeti does good stuff. That's gonna be unblockable. Okay, so they're gonna be unblockable on that. Okay, so they can still easily equip that pickaxe. Still gain some life. If I can, yeah, so I am getting a land next, and maybe Coma can do stuff. So they didn't equip their axe, so that's good. Alright, so while the opponent thinks forever, here's another question. So let's go back on to the fourth. Oh, okay, this one's kind of interesting because I just looked outside, and then here is the question here. Outside, the weather is blank. So outside, the weather is blank. So that's just a very fancy way of asking you, what's the weather like at the moment? I just looked outside when I went to the kitchen, and it was very foggy. So I looked outside, and suddenly there was a lot of fog. There was a lot of fog happening at the moment. What about for yourselves? What does the weather look like? Alright, well, like I said, that was not going to be able to work out. They just had way too much by the time I was able to do anything, so that was kind of a waste of time. Alright, let's claim the rewards and then change up to the different modes. We're going to try out that one red deck and see how that goes. So here's the new Icy Manipulator in the format, although it's limited to blue. It's a snow artifact. It costs 2 and a blue, and then you pay snow to tap target artifact or creature. So it's obviously Icy Manipulator still way better. Icy Manipulator is an artifact which would go in any deck, although it costs 4, and then you pay 1 and a tap to tap anything, basically. This is limited to artifacts or creatures. But that is there, and then the rare is an Old Growth Troll. I like the art on that. Pretty cool looking troll, and then birds and stuff on its head. And it's kind of interesting. So it's a 4/4 trample for 3. And when this dies, if it was a creature, you return it to the battlefield. And then it becomes an aura with enchant forest you control. So this dies, it comes back as an enchantment. It must be attached to a forest. The forest then has tap this to add 2 green, or 1 in a tap, sacrifice this land, and then it becomes a 4/4 troll warrior with trample. So really interesting, because it's a creature, then it becomes an enchantment, and it can become a creature again. So it's sort of like recycling itself, like the circle of life. And then on the next one here, so there's one of these God's Hall cats. Harold unites the elves. Mill 3 cards. You may put an elf or Tyvar card from your graveyard to the battlefield. Put a +1 counter on each elf you control. And whenever an elf you control attacks, this turn target creature gets -1. So this definitely is a great elf tribal deck, or build around. Alright, I'm going to look at the suggested mono red one of the flavors of the this one, really interesting weird win condition cards. Okay, so then the rest is mountains. So opening hand should be 2 mountains, a conjurant, and a trickery. If to guarantee this combo to work on turn 2, turn 1, you need 2 mountains, 1 conjurant, and 1 trickery. the let me play it on the regular play, and then we'll play it against a real opponent on the ladder. So this is one of these. There's also a version in standard. This is supposed to be like a really weird broken combo if you can get it to work, because you're going to counter your own spell, but it's going to be random. And when you counter your own spell, it will replace itself with something else. And the something else might be one of these Ulamogs. And I've seen different versions of this. Yeah, exactly. So it's got to be done on turn 2, because you play a 0 casting cost. You can also play this with Ornithopter. You can play it with Ornithopter or Tormod's Crypt. So see, that's not a good hand. Neither is that. If I draw a Trickery, then this would do its thing. But let's see how far we can mulligan. Okay, this is gonna be. This is everything that the deck needs. Alright, so we're gonna get to see if this works. Alright, so gonna do full control just in case. So cast the Conjurant for 0. It's going to confirm, hold priority, counter my own spell. Yes, I'm sure. Submit. Pay. Counter myself. Things flip into another into another one. So can it flip into another one? No. Okay. Well, that's the luck of the draw. I think if you put in other big payoffs, like see, and then it's just like it's a waste now. I think if it also had maybe Ugin, the Spirit Dragon, mill that many cards, exile until you exile a non-like card with a different name than the spell. Yeah, like there's kind of no point to keep playing at this point, because you need 2 cards for that to happen. So I think it might be better to also hedge your bets and just put in also an Ugin, because there's only 4 out of a possible 60 card deck that matters. So I hit the odds in a really weird way that it was not one of the 3 other Ulamogs. So I think if we put in one more payoff, which would be 4 copies of the Ugin, then there's like a little bit more of a chance to pull something off cool. I'll give it one more try with this build. Yeah, I've been seeing people were talking about this version. I mean, about this deck. And then right there, you just mulligan into nothing, because then the cards just don't happen. So I think the odds of that were pretty weird, of that happening, that none of the pieces of the combo came together. But here's how it can here's how there could be more payoffs. Or just anything that's huge and weird. I think maybe on the regular play it wouldn't, it might not match people too much. So let me go over to the ladder where it might match people a little bit nicer. Or maybe they're already tweaking the algorithm so that when people are playing this deck, it just gets weird or something. Okay, that's what I need there. Now they go first, so let's see. They're also saying like a turn 1 Thoughtseize will really wreck your plans. Okay, I'm playing someone against dinosaurs. So here we go. Let's try that again. So 0, confirm that, counter myself. Flips into, yep, turn 2 Ugin. So it really is it's in theory a very fun weird combo, because you could get, yeah, an Ulamog turn 2, or like this, an Ugin turn 2. But it's like interesting, what's the balance between things? See, and then after this, then it's all lands, and then what's the next payoff? You know, I can ultimate Ugin already, and then they're done. See, so it is really about mulliganing down to like the perfect opening hand, and then striking it rich. So I'll play that a couple more times. But this is definitely something that the arena software helps you, because the action of doing something over and over, although in real life you could shortcut it, I guess. So there's always a danger about, okay, I have to mulligan obviously to the perfect hand. They go first, so if you get paired up with someone, okay, there it goes. If you get paired up with someone that has a turn 1 Thoughtseize, that'll destroy the combo. Okay, if we can make it back to our turn. I have the new Nico Eris. Okay, here we go. So I don't think I really have to hold priority. Well, I should, just to be safe. So there is that danger that the very, very beginning of Tybalt's Trickery has you mill 1, 2, or 3 things away. So there is that part where you could... Oh, look, I just noticed the opponent has 171 cards in their deck. And, okay, next turn I'm going to be able to play Ulamog for free, although it's not going to do the exile part, because it does not get cast. It gets placed. And if I get an Ugin's Conjurant out of those 7, it would come in as 0. But then I do have a 10-10 attacker that mills, and they have 170 cards in the deck, so that's interesting. Moss Pit Skeleton. Six, seven, eight, nine. I could bring in a 9/9 Conjurant. I can do another Tybalt's Trickery onto, well, nothing else. I've already got the two huge things, so... It's definitely a weird, interesting deck when if you mulligan down properly. Although I'm paranoid that the algorithm is going to pair you up with turn 1 Thoughtseize. So I have a 10-10 Ulamog, a 9/9 Conjurant, and the next turn I'm going to summon another 10-10 Conjurant. If they have an Exile spell, they can deal with Ulamog, but a Destroy spell cannot. I don't see anyone playing with a Hagra Constrictor ever, but... Okay, they do want it back. Okay. Okay. Let's just keep playing this a little bit until either I level up to silver or we lose. But you see, on that one time I did have to... I mulliganed down to nothing because it didn't get the combo. And sometimes the math of it causes that to happen. There is also the extreme possibilities when the Tybalt's Trickery, so it has you pick 1, 2, or 3 randomly, and then you mill those. There is the possibility that it could pick 3, and then you mill the 3 important cards, so there's just so much randomness. And I go first here, so okay, this could be another one, like one of these like really just luck of the draw. I go first, and then I mulligan down to what I needed. Now again, they could do a turn 1 Thoughtseize, and then this... Okay, never mind. So they're going to try to do a life gain sort of deck. Alright, so you do definitely have to hold priority. I tried to do it without holding priority, but it's not going to let you counter your own spell unless you're holding priority. So you do have to do that extra. Press Control to tell Arena, I want to counter my own spell, because it's trying to help you by not countering your own spell. So right there, I just kind of had to see if that would work or not, because I would have it on the back of my mind. Do I constantly have to press Control? Yes, you constantly have to press Control to tell Arena you want to hold priority to counter your own thing. But now that we know that, that means this is still game over. See, that's what could happen as well there. See, now I can't. That's game over right there. So that's a couple of ways that will also fail, because I needed those lands. Who knows whenever I would have gotten them. I'll do maybe one more. So I didn't go on the ladder at all last month. So that's why it shows me I'm in bronze on the ladder. I haven't been in bronze on the ladder. I don't know if this is an exaggeration, but in like a year, because I would always play enough of the ladder to at least be like in gold or platinum. And that's game over on that. See, that's what... If you mulligan too many times, then you just don't have enough cards in hand, and you can't do the combo. So there's the version of this in Standard, where you remove Ulamog, and you keep Ugin, I guess, and then... What's a mono red? You had the baby throwing up on you? Well, hopefully that got cleaned up. I'm still playing with the with that red deck. It's interesting. It does, if you mulligan properly, it works. You can get a turn 2 Ugin or a turn 2 Ulamog, but if then the mulligan doesn't work, okay, see, like this, we can mulligan a few times as long as we've got any joy. See, like that, this is... See, that's an automatic game over on that. I had to mulligan too many times. You have to have the pieces of... You have to have the 2 lands plus the Conjurant and the Trickery. And you might draw into the things that you need, but... It did do it a few times while you were out. It definitely worked a few times, and then now here's like the randomness of it about it not working, but it could also be susceptible to turn 1 Thoughtseize. I haven't seen that yet, but you never know. It's fun to pull off once or twice, but like I was saying on the chat, it's not something I want to see like that, the mulliganing, see, and that's game over already, so... No, it's good. It's just the randomness of it. See right there, at a certain point, you mulligan too much, and then the hand falls apart, because you need to have 4 cards in your opening hand. You need to have the Trickery, the Conjurant, and then 2 land. Now, I guess you don't have to have the 2 lands because you have so many lands you'll probably draw them, but well, you definitely need the 2. See, like, that's not going to work. Like, what are the chances of getting the Conjurant? So you have to mulligan into the Trickery and the Conjurant, which I did several times while you were out. See, like, well, not that, but let's see. See, that's enough. And then this is as far as, like, see that this is game over there. You can't really see if that's 5. So I was able to pull it off several times. And then now is kind of like the randomness of it. You know how it's when you flip a coin 50-50 here, it feels like here's the... See, now all I need is the Trickery, and then I can do it, but because I had to mulligan this far, we're in its mercy that way. Now what could happen is, because here, okay, so here it is. We'll try to do it, but this is going to be countered. So let's see. Oh, I also have to remember to hold priority. If you don't hold priority, it doesn't offer to counterspell your own card. I figured that out a moment ago. So let's see if this goes through. So a little bit late on turn 3, but I have been able to do it on turn 2. And then they're like, okay, turn 3 Ugin. So in the bronze tier, you don't lose any ranking if you lose, but when you get past that, then you do lose ranking. So it'd be interesting to see what people were, how people are doing well with it. So we'll play it a couple times, just a couple more times, just to see if we get a couple more wins, and then we'll look at some other strategies, maybe a couple comics, and then do some brawl. Oh, I actually played this person a moment ago. So I wonder what is the optimal, like, if I keep it like this, I wonder what is the optimal minimal ability to hold on to. Oh yeah, I remember this person. They were doing a dinosaur deck. What is the optimal? What is the lowest you can keep? Because you have a couple of variables to keep track of. Your lands. I guess the important thing is to hold on to the Conjurant and the Trickery, and then you'll probably get lands relatively easily. Guess we can hold them off a little bit here. Haha, Gishath. 5, 6, 7, 8. 3, 4, 5, 6. I don't know if it was as worth it. Well, I guess it's worth it because then they can just definitely ramp into. Yeah. So because I didn't keep the 2 combos, right, they're already ramping into Gishath. So alright, so that's GG on that. Yeah, we'll let them. Last time I played them, I did do the turn 2 trick, so right here we'll let them finish their combo. Well, you don't need to say back to the drawing board because the thing is with it can do its thing, it's just that there is that gamble of it, of getting just the right opening hand. And even like the best top tier decks, remember all of these other decks that I've played, like that mono blue counters deck, or remember when I was playing that Wilderness Reclamation deck, even all of those top tier decks, they still like don't win 100% of the time. So it's just about this particular one, you just definitely have to mulligan correctly. So in this case, because the odds are you need the trickery, and there's only 4 out of 60 possibility, right? And then you need the conjurant, which is another 4 out of 60. And then after that, it's golden. See, okay, I got that. Now all I need to do is survive back on my turn, because again, if they do turn 1 Thoughtseize, or they do turn 2 Agonizing Remorse. I am playing against a level 4 bronze, and I'm at the level 1 bronze, so that's a little unfair. But they're playing Merfolk. Okay, so go in with a 0, confirm that, counter myself, confirm that, pay for it. Yep, there's Ugin. I guess it does count, so yeah, I'll exile your 2 lands. And I get a 10-10, and yep. Reading it and rereading it a couple of times, because yes, it does do very weird things. And then they will pass. And maybe at this point they got salty about how could you possibly do that on turn 2? Because it's still pausing for them, so they might have some sort of like giant growth or something. But I don't really think it would be pausing for them this long, unless they lost a connection, but that never happens. So Rabid Bite. Interesting. Well, I guess they thought, at least I can play something. Alright, so I guess I will give it a shot just to play to get to the next. We just need 2 wins. If I can get 2 wins, then it'll go over to the next tier, and then we'll retire this deck. JJ. Okay, so here we go. Level 1 versus level 1. I also need to keep track of... Okay, so this will be 1 return. This will be 2 returns, 3 returns, 4 returns, 5 returns. Yeah, this is automatic game over. Return all 7, and on the 7th one, and on the final mulligan, it gave me the cards that I needed. So see, sometimes just the complete randomness of it. What are the odds of having to mulligan 7 times and not getting any of the requirements? On the 8th mulligan, it was the 2 cards that I needed. All right, so let's look at another question of the day. What is your resolution for tomorrow? That's the question of one of the recent questions. What is your resolution? What is your resolution for tomorrow? Well, I have to balance a few things. I have to prepare for... I have to do a little bit of work and then prepare for the week. Starting a new class. Oh yeah, the spoon. You must have been off of the stream when I asked about it, but I was asking to confirm if I could show it on the stream or not. But it's a cool-looking spoon so far. How long have you been working on it? Alright, I'll put it on stream in a moment. For hours today, and how many would you think you further need on it? All right, that's another random automatic loss. Let's take a quick look at what it looks like so far. So I'm gonna pull it up over here. So here's the spoon over here. So we're going to see some hearts at the top. And then the bowl part of the spoon, I'm sure it has an official name. The concave part of a spoon. Just like, do you all know the name of the little spikes on a fork? They do have a name. So I'm sure the little bowl part of the spoon also has a name. Okay. So in theory, because I have so many lands, I should be able to get the correct land. So as long as it could, let's see if they don't Croxa me. If they Croxa me on turn 2, which is very, very, very possible. No, okay, never mind. So there's a land. Okay, so let's see. Mulliganing down to 2 cards. Gotta remember to turn on full control. And then eventually getting the lands. So I have no cards in hand. This is pretty hilarious. I have no cards in hand, but on the battlefield I've got one of the most powerful planeswalkers ever. And then next turn do another damage, and then after that, -10. Grazer. Haven't seen that little guy in a while. Next turn I can -10 and go get a bunch of stuff. They don't have double black, so they can't... Well, there's various spells that'll kill a planeswalker, but not this time. Okay. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, sure. Okay, they're doing the shrine strategy. And they're like, never mind. Alright, just one more win and we go to the next tier. Definitely here where it's in the bronze tier and your losses don't push you back is a chance to try this deck, but when you're on the regular when you're past the when you're past bronze, where losses do take you back, yeah, when it works, it's definitely nasty. It's definitely very hard to get out of. So my only change was that about adding the Ugin, because then you have 2 chances to do 2 insane things in the deck. Then you have to mulligan here just right. So that's 2 mulligans. 3, 4. And I guess at that point this is a loss. Yeah, see, that's a loss. Because there's so much randomness of it in terms of, well, I could have kept one of the 2. I'm not sure which would be the most valuable to keep. If I have to mulligan and can only have either the Trickery or the Conjurant, I don't know what the optimal one is to keep of the 2. You need both, and maybe, like, worst case scenario, you can keep 1 land and either the Trickery or the Conjurant, but then you have a 1 in 50 chance of getting the other piece. Well, you need the 1 more land and then the other piece of the combo. Like right here, I have part of the combo, and then, like, who knows when I would get the Conjurant, and it's still just the randomness of it. Guaranteed mulligan down to the combo piece, or maybe get it through the draws. See, I mulligan down to what I needed, and I go first, so as long as they don't turn 1 Thoughtseize me, then here's a win. No. Alright. So full control, 0, confirm, counter myself, and then the deck goes brrrr. Yeah, like that Black Mill deck, as long as you mulligan to those 2, to that perfect opening hand, as long as you mulligan to that opening hand, then that's a turn, that one was a turn 1 win, right? If I recall. Alright, I'll take that, definitely. They missed the land drop. So, yeah, they were trying to do some sort of red aggro, but then they missed the land drop, and... Alright, there we go. So, up to silver. Let us retire this trickery deck, because like we're seeing there, it can definitely, maybe there's another way to further make it, maybe one way to further increase the, well, if you put also the stone, well, if you put something like, you know, like Ornithopter, Stone Coil Serpent, Tormod's Crypt, those are also 0 casting cost things. But the point of the trickery is that if it's not named the same thing, so what you could accidentally do is, if you put more 0 things in there, you'll accidentally hit them as well. So you just need one target for the trickery, and then after that, possibly put as many huge things in red as you want. Right? Because the trickery says put something for free into play as long as it's not named as the thing that you just countered. So you could still fill up the deck with other payoffs. Thank you. You could still fill the deck with other payoffs, like, you know, like that 7/7 dragon and all of that. It just still all relies on that opening hand. Okay, so that was that. Let's look at a couple more comics as we've got there on the schedule, then we'll play some more games. So let me switch over here, full screen. I've got a couple more comics to look at. Let's see. Okay, here's a fun one. So how many of you know Lobo, the DC Comics anti-hero? He's not a hero at all. He's a villain, but anti-hero. He's not even a hero at all. But Lobo, so this is Lobo number 4 of his original series. So Lobo, basically he's as strong as Superman. He's unkillable. He's actually been banished from both heaven and hell. He's gone both to hell and heaven and been banished from both. He was too bad for both. He's had various powers. He's had various powers throughout the years. One power that was really cool was that he could clone himself from a drop of his own blood. But that power was nullified at a certain point. And yeah, he can you know, get punched in the face by Superman's full power and just laugh. And he can punch Superman into the sun as well, and they'll both laugh. And this is his first storyline right here, where he's a bounty hunter, and he was hired by Vril Dox to transport Mrs. Tibb. What's her name? Mrs. Tibb or Mrs. Tribb? I think Mrs. Tribb. Transport Mrs. Tribb. She's a witness to like the mafia or something, so he has to transport her to the court across the galaxy or something. And the thing is that, okay, so Lobo's such a hilarious character in terms of his comics are extremely violent but funny. Like the artist would draw him punching a guy and then his guts pop out of his butt or whatever. So it's very violent, but it's very funny. And part of his origin story is he's from the planet Zarnia, and for millennia, everyone that was Zarnia has been at peace for millennia, until one day Lobo is born, and he's the most evil, intelligent being ever born on Zarnia. And the theory was that after having a millennia of peace on their planet, all of the negative feelings or whatever were born into him. So he grew up, he was a weird, bratty, violent, genius kid, and eventually when he grew up, he had the idea that he wanted to be the last Zarnian. Now this story is actually way more dark than it what the rest of the series is. But because he wanted to be the last Zarnian, he created a plague to wipe out his world. And the plague were these like little like scorpion hornet things that he released onto the world, and when you get stabbed by them, it would be like your guts are boiling from the inside. So he released this plague onto his own world. He killed his whole world so that he could claim the title the Last Zarnian. All of that happened before his very first appearance. That's his origin story. So in this limited 4-issue series, because he debuted in other comics and then they gave him his own series after he was popular. In this story, he has to transport Mrs. Tribb. Mrs. Tribb actually is also a Zarnian that was not on the planet when he released the plague. So he thought he was the last Zarnian, but then she's still alive. So, of course, he wants to kill her so that he's the last Zarnian. But he's been hired to transport her to the courthouse, and he's a man of his word. Even though he's like this horrible bounty hunter killer, he has a strict code that when he takes on a job, he will follow the job to the letter and never deviate from it. So he didn't know who he was going to transport. So he got hired to transport someone, and he said, yeah, I'll take the job. So he took the contract, and whoops, it's Mrs. Tribb, the other last Zarnian. So throughout the whole story, he can't kill her, and she's so belligerent to him, and as this little old lady, she was his like second grade teacher or whatever, and he has to transport her to the law planet or whatever throughout the whole time. So this is the final issue of that limited series, and as you can see in the background, there's a whole bunch of dead bodies and skulls all over the place as they wrap up the adventure. So it's a really funny, really violent, really well drawn mini-series by Simon Bisley, and just a really famous anti-character. He came out on like the various animated shows, and they really toned him down, but in the original comics, he is not lovable at all. So that's one of the comics that I got recently, and I got it also because it's one of these newsstand editions. So I like reading and collecting comics, and one of the collectability is to get the there's usually 2 editions of a comic, the one sold at a comic shop, aka the direct edition, and one sold at a newsstand. So I already had this from back in the 90s, but in the comic shop edition, and this last year I got the direct edition, the newsstand edition. So I've got both of the editions that exist, the comic shop edition and the newsstand edition. And the cool thing about the barcode here is if you see there's a number 2 right there, that means February. So this debuted in February 1991, I believe. Yeah, February 1991. So, yep, I got that Lobo comic. Well, there was also, so in the 90s, Marvel and DC teamed up to do a mashup of their characters. And they did a mashup, and they did Lobo the Duck, which was combining Lobo plus Howard the Duck. Lobo from DC Comics and Howard the Duck from Marvel Comics. So there was only one issue, and Marvel and DC combined into one super company in 1997, calling themselves Amalgam Comics, where they mixed together the logos of Marvel and DC, mixed together the characters. They mixed Spider-Man plus Superboy. I think it was called Spider-Boy. They mixed Captain America with Superman. I think it was called Super Soldier. They mixed... we can look them up in a moment, but here they mixed the baddest, one of the baddest, toughest characters in the world of DC with Howard the Duck. And then so Howard's slogan on his comics was something about trapped in a world he never made. And then here, part of the funny weird thing about Lobo is he uses all this fake, or I guess alien profanity. So he's often using frag instead of the other F word. So fragging this, fragging that. And he uses bastich instead of the other B word, and other things. So here, it mixed up the slogan, trapped in a world he never fragged. So trapped in a world he never made, which was Howard's slogan, and then, frag, which was Lobo's slogan. So it's a fun little mix-up of these two characters that are complete opposites of each other. And I never had this one back in the 90s. I got it recently, or last year. And it's also one of these newsstand editions. So Grant, Semix, and Kreisberg. Grant and Semix? Grant and Semix, they worked on the regular Lobo series. And here they did this one. So that was that mix-up. But let's take a quick look over here for looking at the Amalgam Comics. Amalgam Comics was a publishing imprint shared by DC and Marvel, in which the two publishers merged their characters. Okay, so like Batman plus Wolverine became Dark Claw. These characters first appeared in a series of 12 comics, which were published between April '96. They had Marvel vs. DC issue 1 and 2, where the characters battled each other, and then you could call a phone number or fill out a form and send it in to decide who won. So then, between 3 and 4, then they published 12 of these one-shots, which was one issue of the characters combined. And so they had the characters, I think it was Superman versus the Hulk. I think it's in here, but Superman versus the Hulk, and the fans voted for Superman. Yeah, I believe that. I think Superman could beat the Hulk. They had a bunch of other ones. They had Wolverine versus Lobo, and supposedly Wolverine won, but that is completely fake. Wolverine is a speck compared to Lobo. Like I'm telling you, he's as strong as Superman. He's been banished from heaven and hell. He can clone himself from a drop of blood. He's got super strength. He can breathe in space. What else does he have? He's got genius level intelligence. He can track you across the galaxy. So it was just a popularity contest. Wolverine would not be able to beat Lobo. That was a joke. 25 years later, and I'm still bitter about it. So anyway, then we had... then there was a sequel in 1997. This was actually the sequel. But if we can see it over here... Okay, there was Bruce Wayne, Agent of S.H.I.E.L.D. So that was combining Batman plus Nick Fury. Bullets and Bracelets, that was combining the Punisher plus Wonder Woman. Magneto and the Magnetic Men, combining Magneto plus some DC thing. Speed Demon was a combination of Ghost Rider and the Demon. Spider-Boy was Spider-Man and Superboy. X-Patrol was X-Men plus Doom Patrol. What I want to do is see the actual covers. Here's the covers. Yeah, like right here. Here's a combination of the Demon plus Ghost Rider. Okay, here's Batman. Here's Batman and Wolverine. Dark Claw. Here's Super Soldier. Superman plus Captain America. Doctor Strange Fate was a combination of Doctor Strange and Doctor Fate. Amazon was a combination of Storm and Wonder Woman. X-Patrol... Oh, X-Patrol was X-Force and Doom Patrol. Assassins. What was this one? This was Elektra plus someone else. Maybe Talia al Ghul? Maybe? You saw a Lobo comic on a toilet? the the Lobo comic was on the toilet, or you saw, or you read the comic on the toilet? I'm not sure if I get that completely. What else? Combination. There was like Green Lantern plus something else. So yeah. Anyway, that's, oh yeah, and there's Lobo right there. So that was a company-wide crossover that they did 20-something years ago, 25 years ago. They haven't done it since then. It would be cool for them to do it again at some point. I don't have all of them. In 1997, I think I was kind of winding down my second age of comics. My first age of comics was between 1987 and 1991 or so. And then the second age was between like 1993 and 1996. In 1997, I moved off to college, so then I didn't really continue with comics. And then I think between like 2000 and 2014, things were like very, very, very fallow. I would get comics here and then. And then 2014, I just got back into it hardcore again. So wow, 2014, that's when I got back into it with Jane Foster Thor and Spider-Man 2099, and then the next Civil War and all of that. So 2014 is when I have been way back hardcore into comics. Your first favorite hero was Robin, who you think turned to Nightwing. Yes, exactly. The very first Dick Grayson. Eventually he grew up. He was Robin, then he was Robin in the Teen Titans. And then he grew up and became Nightwing. And then we got Jason Todd? No, Jason Todd. Jason Todd became the second Robin, who was then killed by the Joker, kind of. And then we got the third Robin, Jason Todd, in one universe series, and then it was Spidey, Wolverine, Deadpool, Spawn, and all of those. Yeah, all of those great 90s. All of those great 90s comics. So those were a few comics to show here. Let's get back to a little bit of gameplay. And actually, let me show one more thing here. So this is the cover right here of one of these. It was the showdown of the century. So we've got Hulk versus Superman. I'm more of a Marvel fan, but I would definitely say Superman would beat the Hulk. What about yourself? And then over here we got Spider-Man versus Superboy. I think Superboy would also beat Spider-Man, even though Spider-Man is my favorite character. And then we've got Wonder Woman versus Storm. I sort of also think Wonder Woman would beat Storm. And then we've got Lobo versus Wolverine. That's definitely Lobo's gonna beat Wolverine. And then we've got Batman versus Captain America. I think on that one, probably Captain America. Because everyone always says, yeah, Batman can beat XYZ with planning. Like, give me a break. So, come on, he's the super soldier. Captain America can beat him. So, out of all of these, I kind of give the favor to all of the DC characters, except probably Captain America versus Batman. And, but the thing is, well, I would say Captain America after he thinks about, like, after he says, well, you're kind of a vigilante, Batman, I gotta take you down, because he's a Boy Scout. But then when they figure out we're on the same team, then they might not finish each other off. Okay, so we'll get back to some gameplay here. I want to play a couple of games of Brawl and then craft a Brawl deck. So let me come back to this green. Actually, I want to do this other deck here. So what's your pick of the new... You know, I don't really know anything about it. I just kind of started to hear a little bit about people talking about it. And and that it's suddenly coming out, so I didn't even know there was one on the horizon. But who would win? It's Godzilla. Godzilla's gonna win. He's got his, you know, Corona breath or whatever it's called, and he's got claws and the teeth and the tail, and I kind of feel that I don't quite feel. Ooh, look at that! I'm getting the combo that I want. I don't quite feel that a big old primate is exactly the match. Rooting for the big monkey, but Godzilla will win. Maybe. Actually going up for your theory that the tag team up against Mecha Godzilla. Oops, the opponent's like, nope. They noped out of that when they saw the the poison coming through. So here's the thing about, now, is this new Godzilla vs. King Kong movie, is it a Japanese movie, or is it like a US movie? Because in the Japanese ones, there's already been enough of a history that you can go directly into all of these cool scenarios. But unfortunately, all of the American ones, it's like they have to set up a whole shared universe, even though I think people are would kind of already know what the story is. But for example, in all of these superhero movies, every time they did a Spider-Man movie, they had to do the origin story, right? So Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man, even though by the year 2000, 2002 or so, when Spider-Man, well, yeah, the first Spider-Man came out like in 2001, right? Tobey Maguire. We already knew we already knew the origin of Spider-Man debuting in 1961, 61, 71, 91. That was 40 years already, right? 61, yeah. That was already 40 years by the time Tobey Maguire's Spider-Man came out, but they had to, you know, show off the... They had to show off the... Oh, man. They had to show off the origin story again, and then the, what's his name? Richard Garfield? No, Thomas Garfield. What was the name of the other? What was the name of the other? Andrew Garfield. Yeah, there it is, Andrew Garfield. So they had to do another origin story, even though the Tobey Maguire Spider-Man had told us all the origin. And to be honest, even though I always talk about how Spider-Man is my favorite character, I saw the first Tobey Maguire Spider-Man, and then after that I haven't seen any of them. So even though everyone loves Tom Holland's Spider-Man and his Spider-Man movies, I've never seen any of them. I don't really watch too many superhero movies. Did that one have an origin as well, like how he became Spider-Man, or did they just assume it like from Civil War or whatever? You're hoping that they do a DC saga like they did with the Marvel, where they end up battling Darkseid. Yeah, they haven't been able to get their cinematic universe off the ground as easily as Marvel for whatever reason, and I think all the companies are good, but they Just never were quite able to get something going. Remember when they were going to do the Dark Universe from Paramount? They were going to do a whole shared universe. Remember, Tom Cruise did The Mummy, and that was going to be a whole The Mummy, The Wolfman, Creature from the Black Lagoon, Frankenstein's monster. They were going to bring back those old classic Paramount monsters in a whole shared universe sort of thing. And because The Mummy didn't do well, and even with Tom Cruise, they never continued it. But that was going to be their Dark Dimension universe, or whatever it was called, after they saw the how well the Marvel universe was doing. You enjoyed Tom Holland's performance. He picked up his Spider-Man acting based off of Michael J. Fox acting. Oh, I never knew that, and that's pretty cool. I like, from the clips and stuff that I've seen, I like his portrayal of the character. It's funny, though. Tom Holland is British, and then Andrew Garfield was also British. So the last two Spider-Mans have been British. Alright, if I can get my 6th mana... So this is just like everything here is everything's death touch in this deck. So it's not a poison. It's not a poison deck. It can be that poison deck, but the only way the poison deck works is if I can get out Finn. So actually that kind of makes me think I should probably just make this black and green, because with triple colors, white isn't really doing too much. And with black and green, it could focus a little bit more. And then I could also get things in, I could get like Demonic Tutor in here, and then go find my Poison Enabler. Wonder when the Russo brothers are going to release the Magic the Gathering series. Yeah, their animation always takes a while. When we see something animated, like think of like the Rick and Morty show. I think the problem with that, it's been the ideas, the stories were more. The stories were more taking longer than the actual animation. But that Magic the Gathering, series, yeah, I can't wait for it as well. Haven't seen the have not seen a any more updates on it. Even Miyazaki films take a while. Yeah, speaking of Miyazaki films, they just released the very first completely 3D generated Miyazaki film, and people are disappointed. And even Miyazaki himself said that he would never do a he would never do a computer generated film. The funny thing is that it is his son who did this film under the official Studio Ghibli. Okay, so I'm kind of putting together another version of this Poison. Alicia wants the Avatar 2 to come out. Avatar 2, I should probably watch Avatar 1 someday before I watch Avatar 2. I sound like such a snob so many times talking about these movies that I have not watched. I've not watched Titanic or Avatar Part 1 or any of the Spider-Man movies. And it just I had a chance to watch Titanic when it was debuting. I was in college, living at the dorms, and then everyone was going to go on a big field trip to the movie theater to go watch it, and then we went, and everything was sold out, so we ended up watching Kingpin. Anyone remember that movie? That Farrelly Brothers movie? With Woody Harrelson and... It was Woody Harrelson and who else? Like I said, I wanted Demonic Tutor. Grim Tutor, not Demonic. Now, did I mishear something? But I thought I heard that they're actually working on 2 Avatar movies, or did I imagine that from something else? I thought I remember hearing somewhere that actually Avatar is going to be like a part 2 and 3, or it was some other big movie that there's currently an Avatar comic book publishing. It was just debuting. Speaking of comic books, actually, so John Wick, I think part 4 is coming soon. Anyone like the John Wick movies? Keanu Reeves is co-writing a comic book coming soon. I've already pre-ordered it. I forgot the name of it, but Keanu Reeves is co-writing a comic book with another writer, and it's kind of in the same milieu in terms of it's like some tough tough guy that has to battle a bunch of other people. You love the John Wick series? Okay, here we go. So we can do stuff with this. Okay, they've got Ashiok, so that means they might mess with my hand, but we can see what we can do here. So, first of all, I am going to play a 0 mana cost Tormod's Crypt. To strike terror into them. Then turn to Signal. Well, actually, I can already bring out my... yeah, I guess I can be safe here with Cheville. Although they could easily remove it. Nice, okay. Let's see if they do the ultimate play right here. Nope, they didn't do it. Okay, that's fine. So all I have to do is remove that, and then... You remember when the third film came out, they were talking about expanding the universe into TV. Not sure if that... Since it's such a violent movie, right, it would have to be on some sort of premium show so that it doesn't... so they don't have to tone it down. You haven't seen John Wick yet, you'll have to check it out. Kingpin 2 someday. It's such a silly movie. They're totally doing the mill strategy. Fine. While you're milling me, I'll do my own things. Okay, there's my strategy. They didn't mill that, so thank you. What else is in the graveyard? I don't have any recursion. I could. Remind me to look up Balaged. How do you spell that? Balaged. I should put that in here. Balaged. Recovery. I can bring stuff back from the graveyard. Okay. So everything's got Death Touch. Okay, so they'll bring back a block, they'll make a blocker, or they might bounce back something, which is fine. If they bounce that back, I can live with that. If they kill it, I can't live with it, so that's fine.
Recoil to the recess of your mind.
Okay, so I definitely want to put in the Balaged Recovery, because if I get stuff, if I lose stuff in the graveyard, then the strategy falls apart, so let me put that in there. So the more you play the deck, you kind of get these other strategies going on that you figure out. That is, so that's one of the things that I thought about. Okay, so part of the important part, I have to look up, are there So like Elixir of Immortality is obviously not on Arena or Felden's Cane, but getting stuff out of the graveyard, back to the graveyard. I need to see what other cards can do that. Or shuffle back in. Well, there's also that one Death Dweller or something to bring it directly out of the graveyard, so maybe I need another one. Because this version of this poison deck has way more poisonous creatures, but the problem is that I cannot easily summon Finn to get that poison working. Alright, so I've got Mirror Shield to hopefully protect. So what's the last movie that you've all seen? What do you remember seeing last? Any movie on TV, streaming, etc. I saw a couple of movies yesterday on Friday, actually. I saw The Killing Fields. So that was a classic 1984 war movie. Very mature type of movie. It's about the war in Cambodia at the end of the Vietnam War, and very raw, very real, very depressing. But it's a classic movie about the horror of war and all of that. And it's often in one of these the top 1,000 movies you must watch lists. And actually, the two main the lead and the co-lead, they both were nominated for an Oscar that year. Okay, so people have been playing this Isika, and people have been saying it's a really hard card to play against. So let's see for ourselves. Monster Hunter and the Croods 2. So did you watch the Croods 1 first? Last night you watched the Babadook. It's a thriller. I would have thought it was a horror movie. I always kind of see it as horror. And your pops, we're gonna go to the drive-in. Oh yeah, the drive-in is around still. One of the best places to go for movies, of course, because you're in the safety of your own car. You're gonna go see The Little Things, Denzel Washington film, and The Marksman. Sounds good. It wasn't that scary. Now, do you say that because you've seen a lot of scary movies, or it just wasn't that, or maybe I'm thinking of a different movie. Alright, so I think the opponent is stumbling with mana. Do they have Cultivate? Cultivate will help. But then that comes in as an enchantment, and I've got Feed the Swarm. Okay, so let's see about that. They're gonna mirror mage my own ring, which is fine. Because then I have... There's my death touch. Win condition. 6 poison. Next turn they're dead. Your favorite scary movie series are the Wishmaster series. How many of those are there, actually? I always confuse the Wishmaster with the Pagemaster movies. The Pagemaster is that half live-action, half animated Macaulay Culkin movie, I believe. That's the Pagemaster. But I always, when I first hear it, I always confuse the two. There's 6 of them, so I had no idea. But that's my funny thing about that. That I always confuse that. So my favorite horror movies. I think for the series, my favorite are the Friday the 13th movies. But I think, like, individual, if to pick 1 or 2, I might say Halloween 1 and 2. I love how Halloween 1 and 2 just flow into each other as a continuation of a huge story. But then there's so many other uneven things in that series, but I think the Friday the 13th series is my favorite. I've actually got all of them on DVD over here somewhere, so I would pick that. Your favorite scary movie are the Ring series, and there's 4 of them, but more lean towards mystery than horror. I think so. It's a pretty good classic. Have you seen the original Japanese Ringu, or are you counting the American ones? How did we get on horror? We brought up the Babadook and then started talking about horror movies. Because I had said, what's a movie that people have watched recently? And then we started talking about movies. You also saw The Games Maker. Hello, my name is Doris. You are here. Bliss, Voice from the Stone. Yesterday, those sound like a lot of interesting movies, which I have not myself seen. So that's a lot of good recommendations. Gotta say, it felt weird watching 4 learning it took place between. Yeah, that's kind of the interesting part of it, isn't it? That the they came out sequentially in the real world in a certain way, and then and then there was also the timeline within the story. Anything can happen on the stream, right? You're big on horror? Oh, tell us about what you like. So what other horror movies do I like? Those are the things that stand out. Have I seen Fear Fest? No. Doesn't sound familiar. I can sort of maybe visualize the screenshot of it. Ooh, okay, there's my win condition. So for on the common questions Google comes up with, you just search if there'll be a Ring 5. Yeah. What are the most common asked questions if a child under 12 should watch it? And the answer is 13 or more. Yeah, there's like the official, if it's rated R or PG-13 or whatever, there's that official age. But it does then depend on various other things, such as the family, what they believe can be, what their own child can handle. We saw Fright Night on Halloween, the 80s film. Yeah, Fright Night, I vaguely remember seeing it back in the day, but it's definitely an 80s film. It's of its time. Alright, so if they cannot wipe the board here, that's game over for them. They could, they could do that one fire that does 4 damage to everything. Okay, they're gonna do that. They're gonna do the attack me with my own thing and then sacrifice it. And then one final cast of the... And then they have enough to pay for that fine. You enjoyed the Leprechaun series, the comedy. That's definitely the first one had a little. The first one was a little bit scarier than the next ones, but then the series definitely goes towards comedy very quickly. Alright, this is coming close. Coming very close. Well, I guess that's a way that came together. Tried watching the updated version of Chucky. Let's just say it didn't make it through the half hour. They made it too scary. Oh, really? That's the one with Mark Hamill as the new voice of Chucky, right? So, do any of you watch the Dead Meat YouTube channel? If you look up this YouTube channel, Dead Meat, the host is James A. Janice. He's a really cool guy that talks about horror movies. He does a synopsis of a movie and then talks about the kill count, which is like how the kills in a particular movie happens. And then at the end of his review, he then also says like the best kill and the worst kill. So there's been so many horror movies that I've never seen, but after watching his kill count, because it's all full of spoilers, I feel like, oh, I have watched the movie because from his kill counts, I feel that I learned the whole movie. You enjoy seeing horror that catches your interest. You like the creativity in creating a horror movie. His voice was good for Chucky. Yeah, Mark Hamill's voice, Dark Lord. It's a good put a scare. Yeah, that's a cool channel. He's also got a podcast. Him and his fiance Chelsea. They're a pretty cool couple. They're both like into horror. They're both artsy film students from college, so it's cool that they found each other. That they both are into that same topic. So the art on Sarulf is pretty cool. Now I'm pretty sure what will happen here is they have a kill spell for Cheville, so then it'll get stronger. Sarulf will get stronger. And I should be able to summon it back again relatively easy. Oh, I have one of those. Okay, that's fine. Oh, look at that, boring Klex. Okay. Alright, well, I'm gonna need my, I'm gonna need my removal spells soon. That's pretty cool. They remove X number of counters and then they exile stuff. Oh yeah, that guy's indestructible. Alright, so I can definitely go with my removal spells. Okay, well, I have a lot of value there, so I needed my removal spells. That was not going to be doable. All right, so here's a speaking of movies, let's go the opposite way. We were talking about horror movies. What would you say is your least favorite genre? So we've got horror movies that we were talking about as some of our favorites. What about your least favorite genre? Or least favorite movie, so an individual movie maybe. Alright, if I can keep this Varagoth alive, I can go get my Feed the Swarm, so that when they inevitably cast their Prismatic Bridge, I can get rid of it. Not a fan of chick flicks? You mean you didn't cry during the Notebook? What if they landed on the comedy genre? Yeah, what if it's a chick flick comedy? Like Bridesmaids. Alright, so they're definitely okay, so they're losing target player searches. Okay, so why would it be target player? Okay, let's get the Feed the Swarm. Okay, so if I can keep, if I can still keep Varagoth alive a little bit, I can go get Finn. Where are you, Finn? There we go. Let's get Finn. No, the Notebook was a good story, but meh, he drank a lot of wine watching it. Well, that's the best way to enjoy it. Escape draws a bunch of stuff. Okay, what can I go get? Oh, I can go get the Balagid Recovery just in case. Okay, so this combination's working pretty well. So if they do wipe the board, I can Balagid. Now they probably want to get enough mana to play the bridge and have a counter spell. But let's see if they can pull that off. Extinction, okay, that'll work. Oh, actually, Extinction's gonna get rid of Finn permanently. Well, we just have to do it the old-fashioned way. Thriller usually is dancey Michael Jackson zombies. So what else would be useful here? Okay, binding. At the beginning of combat, if you have a full party, until your next turn it cannot, whatever, so there's no party. Mirror Shield, do not care. Bad, slow movies with no development. That's not a genre. Oops, we got a Heliod. Not good. Have to destroy that non-land permanent. Out of curiosity, what's the difference between a thriller and horror? I think horror relies a lot on like gore and violence and blood and such, and a thriller is more like okay, do they have any? Yeah, they have 1 blue mana, so they might have a counter spell here, but we gotta go for it because obviously their bridge is their win condition. So let's see. Search the area for a forest, then put it into play tapped up to 1 forest. Okay, so let's see if this works. Yep, there we go. And I can bring it back. They have already 10? How did they get 10 counters on that clock? Okay, so what do we want to do here? So Erebos is also unkillable. 3, 4, 5, 6 mana in total. Oh, Athreos is also unkillable. What am I going to do about this? Because Athreos will be able to steal my stuff. Oh, how about a hasty creature? There's the Midnight. 12 cards. Or 7 or whatever. Full hand. Okay, so have a 4/4. I can flash in that Reaper. Actually, no, it doesn't have flash. It has haste. Satire. Well, I guess I was about to say something about it being a comedy, but It's not necessarily the... I was going to say, a satire is often comedic, but that's not necessarily the case. Alright, so this is kind of close, sort of, but they have so much stuff on their side of the field that, and they have so many, they have like every indestructible god. I have no way to handle them, so I'm just gonna have to brute force things. Thassa's going to be able to lock down an attacker. Three, four, five, 6, 7 mana. 6, 7, 8. Nothing to bounce back. Okay, that really didn't do anything. Okay, this might help to win the game. Now they're gonna tap with that, that's fine. Still gonna do 2 damage here. Hopefully they don't have some sort of board wipe, so I don't think I want to stretch my forces out too thin. You got exile 2 cards from your graveyard. Alright, so that can tap out an attacker. Would have their own Cheville. Sure. Doesn't do anything yet until it cycles back to their turn. Got a Caliphate. I don't think she does too much. Okay, Thassa is online. Azusa. What is causing them to gain life? Whenever you gain life. What's gaining life? Spells your opponents cast whenever you tap. Yeah, I don't know if I'm not seeing it, but what is causing them to gain life to trigger? Indestructible. Spells your opponent casts to target as long as you devotion to white. What is causing them? Spells. Yeah, I don't know what's causing them to gain that extra life that then triggers Heliod. So what would I need to do to get out of this? You may play an additional land. Whenever you cast a spell, draw 2 cards at the beginning of your end step, discard your hand. Okay. They could deck themselves. So their deck is definitely a every color pile of stuff. Grim Tutor. Can I Grim Tutor into anything good? So let's see, will they pay Thassa or will they... Yeah, they're gonna do Thassa. Fine, and they don't have enough for... Okay, I didn't think I had it, but I guess they thought it was kind of insurmountable, but I thought they had a very, 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 very good position, even though they were on very, very, very low life. I misplayed here. I should not have attacked with my Hooded Blightfang, because that's having that the Blightfang was helping me slowly whittle them down, so I should not have attacked with it, so they were about to kill it. I could have still been attacking with that one in the air, and that would have been whittling them down with the Blightfang. But then they had so many other things online. They had Heliod, which is just making their things stronger and stronger. They had Erebos, which could draw them cards, but they weren't going to spend a life on that. They had Athreos, that if they started killing my stuff, they would steal my stuff. They had the Path to the World Tree, which they could pay mana for and make grizzly bears and draw cards and all that stuff. They had the Song of Creation, which was going to keep getting them more and more and more cards. Thassa could blink stuff. Nothing's really important to blink, but Thassa would be tapping my stuff down. They also had the Labyrinth to tap my stuff down. They also had the Crawling Barrens to bring to life. They had a lot of good stuff still that they could get me at, but I guess they just got scared that they were down to 2 life. But because that would have died, but then I would have had no other way to get things back. Balagid Recover is the only card that I have to bring stuff back from the graveyard, so I'm going to put one more thing in there, because this deck falls apart with the one card to retrieve from the graveyard. There's another one that I could do in here. Actually, yeah, there's another one here. I think it's called like Call of the Death Dweller. Let's see. Call of the Death Dweller. Return up to 2 creature cards with CMC 3 or less. They should work fine, because this would bring back Finn, who's only 2 mana, and then it could bring back, for example, this Blightfang. Where's it at? That's a 3 mana, I think. Hooded Blightfang, that's a 3 mana. Yeah, so I think this Call would return 2 things from the graveyard. So what else do we remove? I guess the Void Beckoner is not really that ever happening. A straight line is always best. Okay, here's another horror-related question. What is the first horror movie you remember seeing? This is the one that this is a very annoying deck to deal with. I usually don't really like playing it, but this is a different kind of deck that I have, and I go first, so let's see if this will do anything useful. So what is the first horror movie you remember watching? Now they're going to have their turn 1 lifelink creature. Like that. And then... they might even have a turn 2 lifelink creature, or... the Alseed of Life's Bounty. The Village. Ooh, that M. Night Shyamalama movie. There's the Alseed, exactly like I said. What I have here is mostly creatures, so we know that Alseed's gonna die because it does good things. Alright, so they'll probably get greedy right here. Exactly like that. Donka. That draws me a card. Slayer Angel in the graveyard. You remember watching Evil Dead? Yeah, that first Evil Dead. Sam Raimi, Bruce Campbell. Evil Dead 2, Dead by Dawn. So I remember growing up. Growing up, I was always very... Growing up, I was always very scared of horror movies. And walking in the VHS store, walking in the VHS, through the VHS store and seeing those horror movies were enough to give me a nightmare for that night. But now, as a grown man, it's no big deal. Gremlins, Attack of the Killer Clowns. Yeah, if they try to lock down my card over here, since it's the commander, it'll just go back to the command zone. Cannot be blocked by creatures of power 3 or greater. So that means I can hold on to my 1 power. 34 life. Inspiring Commander, sure. Fine. Heliod is online. Huh. "42 life." Sometimes the cover of VHS would be scarier than the movie itself in a way. Yeah, like speaking of Day of the Dead, Evil Dead 2, where it was simply just like that skull. It was a skull with eyeballs, and that was one of the ones that I remember that was so scary. Well, all of the Friday the 13th movies were pretty scary covers, and they were like so simple and evocative with Jason stabbing at you, right? Ooh. What should I wreck? Probably the commander. Oh, sorry. There, you're gonna call it a night. Thank you. Yes, thank you for that, and I hope to have a good night, and I hope to win this in your honor. Alright, let's also destroy their graveyard just for them to be completely in despair. There we go. Good game. 20 fists. So, yeah, I'm usually not a fan of playing a Heliod deck because they're going to do a turn 1 lifelink creature, they're going to turn 3 Heliod, they're just going to make their lifelinker bigger and bigger and bigger. It's a self-fulfilling thing, and then they're going to have the Alseed, which will protect the thing, and of course that's what they had. And they might even have that dog that protects, so a Heliod deck can be very difficult. So there you go. Final win on that. That'll be, you can take that to Stumberland. Thanks for visiting. And we'll do it again next time. I'm probably going to be winding down as well. It's 12:30 at the moment. So I might also wrap in a bit. But, there was an old musical horror. I can't remember. Tell us a little bit more about it, because maybe it was the Rocky Horror Picture Show. Is that the one you might be thinking, or Little Shop of Horrors? Can you tell us more about it? Was there a plant that was eating people and a weird dentist? Then that would be Little Shop of Horrors. Or was there a transsexual Transylvanian that was a Rocky Horror Picture Show? Or what other horror musicals have there been? There's Cannibal the Musical. What other horror musicals? But I think, I think at this point, might be a good place to end. Actually, right now for me, it is currently 1:34 a.m., also known as 0034 hours, I guess. But it is 12:34 a.m. for me, 1:234, and just out of curiosity, can I see on my... It's actually 1:234, it's in 45 seconds, 1:234 and 49 seconds. It's about to be 1:234 5 6 3 2 1. It is currently, right now, And there it goes. It was just right now. It was my time said 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6 at this exact moment. February 7th, 2021. So you can all say you were hanging out with me when the time was 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Yep, see you next time, Stevie. Thanks for visiting. It's 9:34 for you. Zombies and the Dead were involved. A musical with zombies. Interesting. God, you came back for that final finish. Yep. You were the good luck charm that helped me finish it off. Okay, Zombies and the Dead, and it was a musical. Clearly we're talking about Michael Jackson's Thriller. What other zombie musical is there? Okay, well, I think we're gonna wind down at this point. I'm gonna go get the kitty to join us for one final goodbye on the stream, and then I'm gonna wrap it up for the day, and yeah. So let's see if the kitty is available. Alright, so here he is making his triumphant return to the stream. Thanks for another yes, you're totally welcome. So yeah, that deck's pretty interesting, and adding that extra adding the extra payoff, having Ulamog, yeah, but then also adding Ugin gives you two payoffs. And it is interesting. Yeah, you can definitely counter your own spell, and with a 0 casting cost spell, for the real irony of it, you can put a Ornithopter in there, and then counter, instead of the Conjurant, put Ornithopter in there, and then counter your own Ornithopter, and then Tybalt's Trickery it, and then get the big things. So I'm gonna call the cat Tybalt because he's tricking me. He looks cute, but then he's a vicious animal, as you can see there. Someone brought up something interesting. So my colleague at the college had said, I was telling her about this cat, and I said, yeah, it was born on it was born on my parents' property. It's a feral cat, basically. And she said, well, don't they stay feral forever? And I said, no, they do get domesticated. But then she got me thinking, because yes, this one's kind of a little more wild. As you can see, he's all jumping all over the place, but I think it's just because he's a young cat. Hopefully he'll grow out of it, because it's cute, but I would rather be like my old cat, how he was calm and pettable and everything. And this one, when he wants it, he's pettable and everything, but he's also pretty nocturnal. So right now he's wanting to get into hunting mode, and it's making me wonder. Hopefully he will get a little calmer when he gets a little older, and it might also be because he's not fixed yet. He's got his appointment to get fixed in his final shots on the 17th of this month, so in a week or so. But hopefully I hear that also kind of calms them down a little bit. So, yep, that's some of the family behind-the-scenes stuff there. Okay, everyone, well, thanks so much, everyone, for hanging out, and sorry about the stream. I have to cut it and restart it and all of that, but we got back pretty easily, and We'll be back next time. Play some more Magic. Maybe there's like a kind of a better event. I didn't do the event this time around. I'm not interested in it at all. The event this week is the Standard Metagame Challenge. I'm not interested in that. It's not that expensive, but it's playing Standard on the ladder. Not quite interested in that at the moment. But next time there might be some other events going on. So hopefully also they release, I know we were talking about Arena on mobile and we're gonna play and everything, but hopefully they release a version with more support for devices soon, and then we can all play on the stream. So okay, thanks everyone. See you next time. Don't forget to check out the stuff on YouTube. I uploaded a couple of YouTube videos and whatever, and more stuff is coming soon. YouTube related stuff. Don't forget to check that out. And the shorts, thumbs up, all of that good stuff. So this has been VM Campos, and I'll see you next time.